Let's talk about Emmy Stein. She was born in 1934 in Frankfurt, Germany. She was forced to flee to Amsterdam with her family, where they lived for several years evading the Nazis. They were then captured and deported to Sobibor concentration camp, where they were murdered upon arrival.
Well, I want to say what stopped me in my tracks in looking at images. Emmy looks so much like one of my own baby pictures. The image of me as a toddler, she's a little older, with the same, little curled hair in the studio shot. It was more of a soul connection that she could have been my relative.
So in this black and white picture, we see the sparkling eyes of young Emmy. And I'm struck by her sweet, delighted possibility of what could be in her life before the Nazis, before the Holocaust, before the terror. Her eyes you captured are still sparkling. Tell us about the hummingbird and the flowers and picked daisies.
I wanted to immediately wrap her. And we've spoken about the textile in art, that it's a luxury. It's being warm, being embraced. These are things that we crave as humans, and it gives the viewer a feeling of safety and being wrapped in the painting also.
I love the background because you see this bright green on the right-hand side and on the lower left, and you see this dynamic. It's just such a beautiful rendering of the background, and she's, there's a foreground and background, and I just love how you've delineated the two. Why daisies?
Daisies are, I think of them as almost like childhood flowers. You pick them and you pluck. She loves me, or he loves me not. It's a playful flower, the daisy chain, whereas little girls, we would pick daisies, tie them together, and wear them as in our hair or around our neck.
Speaking about around the neck, you have Emmy who's got a necklace. It looks like, can you tell us about that?
In several of the paintings, I've referenced Renaissance portraiture, very classic, very elegant, clearly of the aristocracy. And she's pictured as an aristocrat with her royal wrapping and her ruby necklace.
Again, the tubular bells that we talked about signifying that they're like a funeral bell. Yeah. Could you tell us the inspiration on this one?
One thing that for me, funeral for these girls is bells, and are bells, and bells are not Jewish funeral. So I heard the actual place where they were, which is Europe, and I heard the bells. This is one thing. The other thing, I never composed the noise or the sound of a train going to a camp, to a concentration camp.
Right.
And why? I never did it, not even in one of the composition. I think because my own experience in my family, they were escaping and hiding, but they weren't in a camp. So the trains were not part of my own family past.
You didn't use it, but there is a lot of danger and an ominous feeling that is similar to that. But you didn't use the exact train sound. It has a very dreamy quality, and use the vibraphone for that, I think. And also the harp figures going in there go with the birds and the flowers and that whole idea.
She was a baby. She was really a baby, and such a beautiful, beautiful baby. And you look at the eyes, the bright eyes, and she's so delicate.
The choice of instruments, they're delicate instruments. That ending, that's 2 bars of the vibraphone and the tubular bells, as you said, that's the sad part. In the end, the piano and the harp playing the half notes and the tubular bells following them, that's the funeral. And there's a diminuendo and it fades into nothing.
I'm struck by the beautiful innocence and sparkling innocence, her optimism, the optimism that's just forging forth, just leaping off of the canvas. And it's just so alluring. And you've done a beautiful portrait, a modern portrait of a life that was smothered.
Yeah, precious child. There's no way of looking at her photograph and not feeling the beauty, the preciousness of this little girl.